Edvard Munch was born in 1863 in Luton, Norway, and grew up in Christiania, the city we now call Oslo. His childhood was marked by tragedy. His mother died of tuberculosis when he was just 5 years old, and his beloved sister followed when he was still a teenager. These early losses shaped him deeply, and themes of illness, death, love, and anxiety would follow him throughout his entire career. Munch studied at the Royal School of Art and Design in Christiania, but he quickly broke away from traditional painting. Instead, he wanted to capture not just how people look, but how they feel. His style developed into something entirely new: bold lines, distorted figures, and colours that seemed to scream with emotion. He would later become one of the pioneers of modern art, influencing movements like German Expressionism and even laying the groundwork for much of 20th century visual culture. Today, his name is forever linked to his most famous painting, The Scream. In 1892, while walking at sunset with two friends along a fjord outside Christiania, Edvard Munch experienced something that would change art history forever. As the sun set, he later described the sky turning a violent, blood-red hue. The air seemed heavy and oppressive, and he felt what he called an infinite scream passing through nature. That overwhelming emotional moment became the foundation of his most iconic work. Munch didn't aim to capture reality as a camera would. Instead, he translated raw human anxiety into paint and crayon. The sky twists in unnatural waves of red and orange, the landscape bends, and the central figure is stripped of detail, almost skeletal. This is not a portrait of one person. It's a portrait of human fear itself. The work perfectly captured the mood of the fin de siècle, the turn-of-the-century unease about modern life, mortality, and a rapidly changing world. Munch once said that his art was like his diary, a way to externalize the deepest emotions that haunted him. The scream became his most powerful entry. The Scream, or skrik in Norwegian, is not just a painting. It's a visceral confrontation with the innermost depths of human anxiety and existential dread. Painted in 1893, it immediately captivated the world and has since become a universal symbol of modern spiritual anguish. Munch did not merely replicate what he saw, he painted what he felt. This idea is central to his art. The study of the soul, as he put it, his own self made visible. There are 4 main versions of the Scream, 2 in pastel, 1893 and 1895, and 2 painted versions, 1893 and 1910. Additionally, Munch created several lithographic reproductions. The version held at the National Museum in Oslo is a tempera and crayon on cardboard, painted in 1893. At the core is a genderless, almost skeletal figure, pressing hands to ears, mouth agape in silent agony. The figure hovers on a bridge while 2 distant people walk calmly behind, heightening the sense of isolation. The sky is aflame, deep reds, oranges, and blues swirl wildly. This aggressive palette and the expressive brushwork fuse the figure, landscape, and sky into one emotional field, blurring boundaries between inner turmoil and outer world. Art historians often describe the mouth's elongated oval as a symbol of fear's deforming power, and note the figure's Totenkopf, skull-like appearance, rendering identity uncertain and ghostly. The painting is widely seen as Expressionism's birth, a visual manifesto of modern anxiety and alienation. It's more than a depiction. It's an emotional state made graphic. Munch's diary recounts the moment of inspiration vividly. I was walking down the road with two friends when the sun set. Suddenly, the sky turned as red as blood. I heard an enormous, infinite scream of nature. In fact, the scream followed a nearly identical composition in his earlier work, Despair, but with a clearly defined man in a hat. The transformation of that figure into a spectral presence marks the painting's emotional leap. When it comes to sheer monetary value, the scream has reached staggering heights, amounting to far more than just emotional impact. In May 2012, one of the pastel versions was sold at Sotheby's for approximately $119.9 million US, making it the most expensive artwork ever sold at auction at that time.
Edvard Munch, The Scream, from 1895. Here it is. 44 is bid, 45 in the room, 46, 47 in the room, and 48 is already here. 48 is on my left, 49 with Patty, at 49, 50 in the room, at 50 is already in the room, 69, 70, 71, 72. It's Charlie's bid at 107. Anybody else? At $107 million then. Patty? No. At $107 million, it is Charlie's bid against you, Stefan. I shall sell it then for the historic sum at $107 million. Hammer. Sold. Now, the world record for any work of art sold at auction is this painting, Edvard Munch, The Scream, and it made with buyer's premium $119,900,000.
This particular version was in private hands, owned by Petter Olsen, and the sale proceeds were intended to help establish a museum at his estate in Hvidsten. The buyer was later revealed to be private equity billionaire Leon Black, who even exhibited the painting temporarily at MoMA in New York. Meanwhile, the versions held in public museums also carry immense insured value, not just financial, but cultural. Following the theft of the 1893 tempera and crayon version from the National Gallery in 1994, and the later theft of another version from the Munch Museum in 2004, the insurers estimated the combined value of the stolen works at about $121 million US. The 1994 theft took place in broad daylight, right in the middle of the Lillehammer Winter Olympics. Luckily, the painting was recovered just 3 months later, almost completely unharmed. Far worse was the robbery a decade later at the Munch Museum, where another version of the painting, together with Munch's Madonna, was stolen. The paintings were finally recovered in 2006, but not without damage. The Scream had suffered moisture damage in the lower left corner, while Madonna had holes and paint loss. Restoration required major effort. Thanks to a donation of 4 million Norwegian kroner, around $500,000 US, from Idemitsu Petroleum Norge AS, the works could be conserved, researched, and eventually displayed again. The theft also exposed how vulnerable the collection was. The Munch Museum had to close for 10 months for security upgrades. In the years that followed, it became clear that something more was needed, a new, top-secure museum. That vision became reality in 2021, when the new Munch Museum opened in Bjørvika, Oslo. Today, the new Munch houses over 28,000 works, finally giving Edvard Munch's legacy the protection and attention it deserves. In our webshop, you can buy poster replicas of the version stolen from the National Gallery in 1994, as well as the version stolen from the Munch Museum in 2004. You can also choose a replica of the painting that sold for a record-breaking sum in 2012, or the likely very first version of the Scream, the 1893 pastel on cardboard. We also offer the stolen version of Madonna, alongside the one that hangs today in the National Gallery. And beyond these masterpieces, you'll find a wide selection of other Scandinavian art posters, carefully chosen to bring a touch of Nordic beauty and atmosphere into your home. Use this code at checkout and enjoy 15% off all Munch products in our webshop. Edvard Munch's influence on modern art is immense. His bold exploration of emotion and psychological depth helped shape Expressionism and paved the way for countless 20th century artists who sought to capture inner life rather than external appearances. But the scream has gone even further. It has become a true pop culture icon, referenced in films, television, literature, and even transformed into one of the most widely recognized emojis in the world. Its ghostly figure and soundless cry have been parodied, celebrated, and reimagined across every medium imaginable. Today, the scream stands alongside Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa as one of the most recognized and reproduced images in history. It is more than a painting. It's a universal symbol of human emotion, instantly understood across cultures and generations. Munch once said that his art was like his diary, a record of his soul. In the scream, that soul speaks louder than words and continues to echo through the world more than a century later.